I don't know, it just doesn't give off that $100 worth keyboard. Hello guys, and welcome to another video on UpTech. Today we have Corsair's K60 RGB Pro low profile. Why is that so long? Anyways, let's get right into it. So recently I was trying to buy some keyboards for my wife. She does a little bit of gaming, she does a lot of like computer works. That's why I bought her this. I wouldn't say it's the most aggressive kind of look. I was disappointed at Corsair's boxing. First thought that came into my mind was that the box itself, it didn't look that fancy. It didn't have that gaming kind of feel. I think black with yellow doesn't give off that gaming vibe, you know? Just because it has an RGB keyboard in the front, you can tell that this is a gaming keyboard. However, I don't like all that yellow. There is a list of key specifications in the back, like which keystroke it uses, what kind of frame it has, and which software it uses to control its RGB lightings. Also, you can tell right here that it is a low profile. It basically means that the keyboard is a bit lower, so it has less strain on your wrists. Another fact that I was disappointed with these keyboards was that it has an ABS keycap. The Pro SE model is not low profile and it costs about $5 less, but then that one has PBT, but then this one doesn't. Let's see what they actually have inside the box. So inside the box, the first thing you can see is the instruction guides. Like any other product, throw that away. It's wrapped around in plastic bags, and I really like how they put in Korean that it's recyclable. Small details. So this Corsair keyboard is retailed around $105 in Amazon right now, but then I think they could have done a much better job in the boxing details. I got the keyboards in plastic bags. Besides that, there's nothing inside the box. Throw that away. The first thing I noticed is that it's quite heavy. It's not as heavy I thought it would be. I think when I held the box in my hands, it felt much heavier. First off, I'm not a huge fan of mechanical keyboards like the blue keys and other like silver keys because they sound too much. But this uses the Cherry MX keys, so it's not that loud. But at the same time, it gives off that mechanical feel. The design itself is very minimalistic. It's very simple. I like how it doesn't have any of the unnecessary keys. You could actually put the keyboards inside an office and nobody would actually know it's a gaming keyboard except when you have the RGB lid on. The base is plastic, but then it has that design, like a triangular pyramid design. So I think that looks fancy. They have the little plastic stance. And they have the non-sleep pads right here. They're not the best, but they don't move around the desk. The cable is made out of rubber and it's about 6 feet long. But they made it undetachable. Who makes undetachable cables these days? For a $105 product, it's quite disappointing not to have a detachable cable. Another one of the K60 lineups, the K60 RGB Pro, not low profile, has a much bigger plastic key sockets, which are way bigger and they stand out a lot. They're white, you can tell that it's white. But then the low profile ones, I like them. They don't stand out that much. If I was at my desk typing on these keyboards, I wouldn't really be able to tell that there is a big white socket in there. I like the feel, it's comfortable. It doesn't take a lot of force to actually press these buttons, but then a PBT keycap would have been better, I think. Also, I really like how that Corsair logo is on the right hand top side. So the Corsair logo doesn't stand out that much. I will have to actually get this powered up later. But then from what I know, everything here is RGB backlit. Just the 4 different instructional lightings on the right hand top corner, that one is white. I don't know why. Why not go full RGB backlit but just like have that white backlighting? That's out of place. So it has a full N key rollover with 100% anti-ghosting. It goes up to 100 Hz polling. The linear Cherry MX keystrokes, they're very nice, they're very responsive. What you have to keep in mind is that these keystrokes, they are soldered with twice as many parts as the Cherry Violas. They don't have that clicky style, but it has more of a cushiony feel. Does that make sense? Cushiony? The keyboard has a 3.2mm total travel distance, so it's not that bad. Now let's actually hook this up into my computer and see that backlighting. So it has a USB-A type, so it's very sturdy. I like that feel they put right there. Extra details. Wow, nice. I like this. RGB backlights. Amazing. This one has a per key RGB backlighting, so it's not by areas. Instead, it is per key. I think personally, I prefer the per keys rather than the zone types. So once you hook this up, you get the instruction panel right on your screen. You have to use Corsair's IQ software in order to actually control your backlights. So if you want to change your RGB settings, you have to get into the IQ software. They have some RGB backlight settings within the keyboard itself, but then they're difficult to use. So I would recommend you just use the IQ setups. If you see right here, that's the current settings we have. Right now it's going through that wave kind of motion. Now let's look into some of the different settings that we might be able to configure. If you go into the lighting layers, you can see how there are a lot of presets. There is the color pulse, color shift, color wave, and even rainbow, spiral, wave. And on the sides, you can see how there is a quick lighting zone. If you play a lot of like RPG games, you might want to configure that to quick lighting zone WASD. If you enable that, only the WASD colors would be different from the rest of it. If you play LoL, League of Legends for example, like I do, I put the QWERTY quick lighting zone, QW, ER, and DF. Besides that, you can set up this RGB keyboard just the way you want it. In the key assignments, you can make shortcuts based on your likes. So you press the plus sign right there, it will pop up new assignments. Here, you can put whatever assignment or tasks you want to do with it. So for those of you who accidentally press the caps button, or sometimes you might press Alt F4 in order to cancel that window, you can actually turn that off in the performance or in the key assignment settings as well. What I noticed from gaming on these keyboards is that the low key travel distance may feel too sensitive from time to time. You might be putting your hand on top of the keyboard in order to press the right key at the right moment, but then because it doesn't need a lot of force to actually trigger that button, you might accidentally press it. So overall impression on the keyboards, I would say 6 out of 10. The typing experience was very nice. It took little to no effort at all to get used to the keyboards. But I think if I were to use this keyboard for gaming, I would have chosen something else for that price. And just from what I know and from what I've heard, there are a lot of defected or like bad keyboards out there from Corsair. You saw the one that I had right there. The numeric pad and the caps lock doesn't show up. And there are tons of different brands out there that you can choose from, Logitech and Razer. But to see these kinds of defects, I don't know. I like how they put the Cherry MX keys, but I would have preferred the PBT like I mentioned before. Also, the RGB backlight seems premium, the typing quality was good, but I don't know, it just doesn't give off that $100 worth keyboard. I think this keyboard would most likely suit the 80 to even as low as 70 would have been nice. Actually, since this was my first mechanical keyboard, I may have been whole new to that like feel, but then yes, I will go into other brands' $100 budgets and see what the difference was. If I'm actually right about Corsair being too pricey for their quality, or that's just how it works in the mechanical keyboard world. So thank you guys for watching my video. On the next one, I'll come up with an even more interesting product. So see you on the next one. Bye bye.